So basically, we start out a couple of days after the events of the 3.1 story, and the entire mystery gang gets back together to start planning how they're going to save Nahida. But the game is like, we're not going to show you what we're talking about, wink wink. So afterwards, we split off with different members of the team to begin prepping for the operation. First of all, you meet with Sino and Ramen, who are arguing over the plan because Sino doesn't want any risk of casualties, and Ramen's like, no, it's fine, and then you're like, yeah, it's fine, and then Sino's convinced, is like, okay, I guess it's fine. So you and Sino go together to some high-ranking mercenary and ask them to help him in making a large arrest on some sus Eremites, aka Ramen, essentially sneaking the Eremites into Sumeru City. But wait, you might ask, wouldn't the guards be wary of Sino since he is defected against the academia? Nice try, little Timmy, but flashback to the meeting of the game. Al-Haytham assured that the higher-ups of the academia have probably not told anyone yet of Sino's betrayal so as to avoid any unneeded panic, revealing their true plan. So with Ramen arrested, Sino pushes you to begin phase 2 of the plan, getting information from Tonari. So you and Dea go to Parta's DI to meet up with Tonari and collect information about Dottore. Tonari tells you that he actually met with Dottore, and Dottore wanted to take Hypatia, our comatose researcher who made a connection to Scaramouche in the 3.1 story. But Tonari refused, and Dottore gave up with little pushback since he said he must return to the homeland. So you and Dea track him to Port Omos and sneak around so as to make sure he leaves. But as you're watching him on the boat, he turns to look at you and waves. He's tricked us! While you were gone, he was targeting Hypatia. So you rush back, and there are the two agents surrounding Parta's DI, and an epic fight occurs, aka you beat them up in like a second. Afterwards, you go check on Hypatia. When you touch her, Scaramouche manifests himself from the heavens and is like, give up, you suck, hold this L. And he starts a lightning storm and pieces out. You go outside and Tonari's been struck by lightning, but all the Fatui are gone. He's like, oh, it's fine. I'm not badly injured. I'm not hurt or anything. But I'm gonna sit down. And after making sure he's okay, you and Dea go meet up with the gang in the Grand Bazaar. So you all meet up and go over the plan. It turns out today is Nyagarba Day. Nyagarbaha Day, the day where new information is put into the Akasha, so everyone will be busy with their work and it should be easier to infiltrate the Grand Sage's office where you'll be able to free Nahida from. At the same time, Neela walks by and Al-Haytham's like, you wanna join our secret plan? And she's like, oh my gosh, someone needs me for once? Of course I'll join! And that's word for word. So yeah, you and Al-Haytham just walk in through the front door and try to avoid the Grand Sage, but it was a trap. It turns out that the Grand Sage knew of this plan and that the jig is up. Al-Haytham then reveals that he has been a double agent the entire time, and begins giving information to the Grand Sage about us. How could you? Al-Haytham, you betrayed us? But the Grand Sage is unconvinced and is like, I see what you're trying to do here, and tells the guards to take us away. But Al-Haytham uses the Divine Knowledge Capsule to enter in a rage state and lunges at the Grand Sage while we watch him in horror with our popcorn. He misses and then is taken away to be thrown away where all the other mad researchers go, but on the way out, we see his Akasha turn green, revealing his insanity was all a part of the plan, and you're taken away and locked up in prison. In prison, Paimon reveals that she was acting, and this was all part of the plan, and here is where the real plan begins. While you're here in prison waking up Nahida from her existential crisis, Neela was outside the academia holding a performance, causing the Grand Sage to upload an order banning dancing and calling for her arrest. But it turns out that when Al-Haytham had faked madness, he had really swapped out that order capsule with another one. So instead of arresting Nilo, the guards are told that Kusanali has escaped into Sumeru City and are ordered to capture her. So while all this is going on, Isak is cross-dressing as Nahida and is leading the guards into a trap where Dan and the Eremites beat them up. And while this is going on, the Grand Sage gets nervous, despite his better judgments, and goes to check on Nahida at the Sanctuary of Surasthana, where Sino is waiting to punish him, finally freeing Nahida and completing our heist. So anyways, Dea comes to free us and we're finally reunited with Nahida in person. She fixes the Akasha, and then you two and Paimon get ready to confront Scaramouche together. So you and Nahida go to and explore the facility where Scaramouche is housed, and you finally meet him face to face. Nahida does some spooky green thing, this will be important later, and we begin the final fight with Scaramouche, who has already become a true god. Holy fuck. So, he then proceeds to beat the living hell out of us, and grabs Nahida to steal her gnosis. But then, it is revealed that this was all according to plan. She had been repeating time like the Sub-Zero's festivals. With this knowledge gained over 168 fights, she uploads it to the Akasha and asks for the people of Sumeru to help find a way to defeat him. And then, we begin the final fight. And Nahida tells us,
I'll leave this to you. The first sage of Booer.
And like, I don't know why I included that, but I thought that was sick. Anyways, we beat the crap out of him and take his gnosis, and he reacts like a little kid that just had his toys taken away by his parents. Or like someone whose entire purpose in life has just been stolen away from him. Anyways, he falls to the ground. With the second gnosis in hand, we are now able to enter Rukkhadevata's final memory to restore Irminsul. There we meet Rukkhadevata herself, who turns out to look exactly like Nahida, but that's because they're both part of Irminsul, and like Nahida's like the purest branch that Rukkhadevata selected for the next samsara, and like, I don't know man, it gets kinda confusing around here. But anyways, she reveals that to restore Irminsul, Nahida needs to remove Rukkhadevata from ever having existed, and it's really freaking sad.
Only dreams can awaken consciousness from the deepest darkness.
What the fuck, man? So with her sacrifice, the people of Sumeru are finally able to dream again. But, after returning to the real world, we discover that everyone's memory but our own of Greater Lord Rukkhadevata has been removed and replaced. With her gone, we considered telling the truth and revealing Rukkhadevata's existence, when suddenly, we and Paimon fall asleep. Turns out, Dottore is still here and has come to talk to Nahida. Dottore reveals that he actually cloned himself at many different ages, and, in exchange for the Electro-Gnosis, he destroys all of them but himself. Then, makes a trade for Nahida's own Gnosis, trading information that the sky and the stars are fake. And just as an aside, we could have told her that. Scaramouche literally said it in the first event back in 1.1, and like if she really wanted to know that information, she could have asked us instead of trading her gnosis, but whatever. I guess he gives a more detailed explanation. Whatever. It's not like that will have any future repercussions for us. With all that said and done, we wake up at Gandharvaville, where Paimon has been waiting for us to wake up, and then the game proceeds to tell me that I have to do all of Nilo's story quest. So after doing the entirety of that, we find Kole, whose Elazar has disappeared with the healing of Irminsul. Woo! And we also given a letter from Nilo inviting us to a feast celebrating Sino being reinstated as the General Mahamatra. We invite Tanari, but he says he's too busy, and tells us that the Grand Sage and his other conspirators have become forest rangers after you and Nahida defeated Scaramouche and saved Irminsul. We go and meet Nilo, who tells us that she invited everyone else but no one RSVP'd, so we gotta go around and ask them if they're coming. We find Alhaitham in the academy, who's trolling Kaveh, and since we've begun, he's been promoted to the new acting Grand Sage, something he is not happy about. We find Dia and Dunyarzad in the port being gay with each other, as usual, and we find Sino and Rama and Sataria talking about the support Nahida is sending to the desert. With everyone accounted for, the party can finally begin. We find out at the party that memories of Rukkhadevata have been replaced with Nahida, but we keep the truth hidden to honor Rukkhadevata's last wish. Nahida then possesses us to talk to and thank everyone, and the party really gets started. The next day we go talk to Nahida, who tells us to go to Fontaine and meet Focalors. She also actually gives us helpful information about our sibling, which is the point of the whole quest that we're going on. Apparently, our sibling appeared in Kainra and traveled around Teyvat for a time, but at some point Nahida became unable to get information on their story, implying someone is hiding it. She also tells us that we are Teyvat's fourth descender, aka someone from another world. Important to note, but apparently our sibling does not count as a descender because they are part of this world, hence how Nahida was able to get information about them. But that doesn't really make sense since we were literally traveling around the worlds with them, but like, I don't know, I guess they'll explain it eventually. Turns out that the first Descender is actually the Heavenly Principles, better known as the Unknown Goddess from the beginning of the game, better known as Paimon, but she doesn't know who the other two Descenders are. With that, she promises to help us out, and with more questions than answers, we prep to set off for the next chapter of our story. And thus ends this tale. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.